What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be adding our 8.8-inch Android display to this 2010 Volvo XC60. We'll go through the full installation, and then at the end of the video we will be looking at all of the features of this screen. This will work on all of the year models from 2009 to 2017. So basically everything with this interior right here. And yeah, let's get it. Alright guys, the kit will come with everything that you need. So this is all of the wiring right here. Basically plug and play. You'll just need to run a GPS antenna, maybe a microphone, your USB port you'll have to run, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward. That's about it. The screen itself. Okay, so very important left and right hand drive cars, obviously. That's sort of how it'll sit and look when it's done, nice and clean. And that's basically everything that comes in the kit. So what we need to do now is look at removing all of this. How we're going to do that, this panel here just unclips, so we'll unclip it, it'll come out. Then we need to remove this panel right here. So best way to do that is with a pick tool if you've got one. Okay, so you can get in behind it and pull it out, or if you've got something similar like that, but try not to pry on the sides here, you will damage something, so don't do that. And on the inside of this panel right here, I'll get you a look at that. There's two screws, they're right here. Remove those screws, a couple screws behind there, maybe a couple more here, and the whole thing will come out. Always check to see if there's screws behind things like that. And for anyone wondering, if you've got a screen here already, it is still compatible, it will still work. Okay, this is just a car that was optioned without it. Okay, getting that out is an absolute pain, as you might have seen. And so when this is clipped in, there's two clips. There's one on this side, one on this side, and then there's two on the inside as well. So what you need to do, you can sort of get it from here. You need to bend these in, and at the same time bend these out, and then you can put some pressure pulling back on them. Okay, if you just get a pick and try and rip on them, you might be able to get it out, but you'll probably most likely slip. So it's better that you try and squeeze these pins, pull it out. Okay, do it that way. So these are all Torx screws, these four. And then right up here, no, not there, sorry. Right here, there's another two screws, and they're more Torx bits. So you have to do that on both sides. All right guys, so when you're doing this section here, there's one screw there, there's one on the other side, there's one here, and then if you go look on the other side, it seems like there's no screw there. So you'll probably try and just remove it. I'm gonna save you a lot of time. You need to remove this panel here, it just clips, and the screw is up in there. Okay, so I hope you can see that, but basically I'll put a little arrow there if you can't. Right up in there, there's another Torx bit, and then you can remove this. I just spent a lot of time working that out. Okay, now we're back on track. I had to start the car, put it in neutral, turn the car back off, and we can remove this panel now. Okay, now this panel has two connectors that run down here. Unclip this side panel, okay, just pull straight out, and then you can disconnect those two plugs. Okay, now next up we want to remove the radio. We've got two Torx 20s that are very tight. Alright guys, once we remove those Torx bits to get the radio out, what you want to do is plug in the main connector, and then we're going to run this up behind, maybe unplug that. Actually, the easier way to do this, pause, is to run this connector down behind here, plug in the factory harness. Now that's just ready to go back into the original radio, so that's nice and easy. Like so. Just put that down so it's out of the way. And then you're left with basically steering wheel control module, main power for your screen. Okay, next up is this panel right here. So what we had to do was remove this cover, which has 2 feet. Okay, so the feet slide in, and then it's just clips here. So what you want to do is just use a plastic tool, pry the clips up. So you've got one here, one there, one there. They're pretty tight. Slide it out. There's 4 Torx 25 bolts, and you don't need to get this out, but we just need to get it up so we can get to this plug. Okay, and then what we want to do, unplug the green connector, plug it into this, boom, and then plug in this green connector in its place. Okay, and just remember the orientation. Next up is the GPS antenna. Now we want that really nice and high on the dash, as high as we can go. It's not going to fit there. Actually, it might fit here. Yeah, sweet. Now, if you don't have a speaker here, you can put it here, which is what I'm going to do. If you do have a speaker here, you might need to run it maybe to one of the A pillars or somewhere like that, but it needs to be really high. Okay, if it's not high, you won't get GPS reception. Okay, and the reason that's important is GPS reception will help with the time and date and things like that. So if you're not getting time, if it's not finding GPS signal, you'll struggle to get the correct time. Okay, once you've mounted the GPS, run your cable through, you can slide this panel back on. All right, boom. Clip it in. And then what are we left with? We're left with a GPS antenna plug, the main harness, and the 2 USBs. So what I'm going to do is run one of the USB cables to the center console and do a flush mount. You can do whatever you want with the USB. You can run it into the glove box or whatever. So I'm going to run one into the glove box and we'll do one in the center console. Alright guys, once your USB connection is done, and I'll show you what I did with ours, you will have the plug, all of the little excess parts of the plug, which I've just taped up. So that's your camera, front camera, rear camera. If you want to use them, otherwise just tape it up like I did. Your Volvo module, this plug will stay unplugged, and that's it. So just a quick recap, we've got the plug for the new radio, we did a plug and play connection here, and we did a plug and play connection here, and we run our USB, and we mounted our GPS antenna, which is here. So we'll bundle this up as well, make it look nice. Once that's away, what we need to look at now, and actually I can probably do it right here. Vents from the original fascia. Now if you saw when I pulled this panel out, the vents actually got left behind, but I've just popped them back in so I can show you. Basically all you need to do is find the clips like that, where they are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to bend those clips, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to pop those clips as well, and the whole thing will just slide out. It'll be pretty easy actually. So we're just going to go here. 1. I'm just putting a tiny little bit of pressure on the vent. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay. They're ready to pop. We'll put a bit more pressure here. Literally just pulled on it and it pops straight out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just check, make sure your vents are all in working good order. And then the hazard light, just 2 clips on the side and push. So there's just 2 there. So I put pressure on the plug, squeeze the clips, comes out. And then on your new screen, slide that in. Beautiful. And put your vents in. Okay, just like that. They are looking beautiful. Next up will be the assembly of everything else. So what we'll do is put the radio in first, and then we'll just pop that down and test it, and then we'll do the reassembly. Okay, once your radio's in, just be aware of all the plugs. There was only a few on this radio, but I have had people message me and say, I've got a fault on the dash or something isn't working, and every time it's just been someone's forgotten a plug. So keep that in mind. But now we've got radios in, all the plugs are in. This is pretty much everything that needs to be plugged in just to run this screen. So we can test it now. Okay, so let's just power it up. Start button. So we've got the Volvo sign, awesome. Volvo logo rather. And there you go. There we have it. Okay, we're not going to hear anything just yet, so we need to get this part back on. So maybe let's do that and then we'll test further. But for the most part, we're on the right track. So what I'm going to do now, these are screwed in. So the next thing to do is put the car into neutral, and then we'll get that other panel, put our 2 plugs in down here, plug them back in, remembering there was 2 plugs, and then do the screws. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, that was the hidden one, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws to put back, okay? I'll time lapse that. Alright guys, so now we've got this is all back together. I went ahead and put the sides back together. They're very easy, they just clip. And if you can see that panel right there, that would be the last thing that we put back on. So we just go ahead. Oh, it's second last, the screen's the last. Okay. Push it in, nice and easy. And now we see down here, we've got AM, FM working, CD. So all our genuine stuff is working, and then what we want to do is switch to AUX and go video, or anything really. Yep. And we just need to make sure we've got sound. So that's all working, which is beautiful. Alright guys, I'll give you all the hot tip. I went to fit the screen, just to get it to click in, because I noticed everything was working fine. This corner of the screen was hitting this part of the panel, so you've got to cut it, okay? Okay, so you can see how much I've cut there. It actually needs even more, so I might have to use a smaller head screw and then cut some of that out. I'll do that now. Okay, now we've got that shaved down. What I've done is grabbed all the little metal clips from the original fascia. We're just going to pop them onto our new one. Alright guys, here she is. This is the system installed. It's all in and working. You can go ahead and go into reverse. I'll show you the camera. It's facing the roof because the boot's open, but it's the camera that we installed. And then from here, you've got your apps. So in app list, you've got a whole bunch of different apps you can use here. You can go down, start from the top, go into Wi-Fi here. Okay, turn your hotspot on, connect to your hotspot, and that's going to give you internet access. Okay, so it's already connected to me. We'll go here. From there you've got Google Chrome, Play Store, Maps, Gmail, YouTube. You can go ahead, use any of those apps and just use them on the screen, just like a normal tablet. Like I said, you've got Google dashboard here. That's pretty cool. So if we, rev the car, you see that go up. It's got some other information there. It'll tell you how fast you're going as well. Music, navigation, so you can change the path, as in you can select what happens when you open that. It's got Z-Link, as some of you may know. Z-Link is your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So yes, it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Car info, so if you had a factory screen, you'd get that information, but because this car did not have an OEM display, this is what we get. Bluetooth, you want to go ahead and make sure you're connected to the Bluetooth, which I am. And you'll notice the time changed here because that picked up GPS. Settings, okay, so in settings, this is where you can change that navigation path. So we've got an opening Z-Link, which means that'll be Apple Maps, Google Maps, all that sort of stuff. Language, time and date, so you can set GPS, you can set manually. So more settings, again, that was all of your Android settings. You can go through app settings, permissions, set your hotspot there, all that sort of stuff as well. System information, so this will give you some info on the screen itself. Factory setup, this is where you can change all the vehicle settings, and that is protected by a password. Rear camera settings, other vehicle settings, brightness, all that sort of stuff is all here. Audio for sound settings. And basically, other than that, on the original screen, you need to be on AUX. And so if we were to play, a video,
the sons of London have followed us.
That's how you're going to get sound. Okay, if we press FM down here, you've still got all your factory stuff working as well. But you do need to be on AUX for sound to work here. And yeah, guys, that is basically the screen. Okay, so that's what I did with the USB. It's just coming up through here. We've just double-sided it onto this panel here. And so you can just go ahead and unplug your cable. And it'll bring up Z-Link when you plug it in for CarPlay. Alright guys, that is the complete installation of the 8-inch Android display in this Volvo XC60. Pretty straightforward installation, not a lot of custom cutting had to be done. If you like the screen, link is in the description. If you want to get in touch with us, links all in the description below. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.